The town of Ravenhill boasts a beauty akin to a flawless painting. Surrounded by lush green hills where flocks of sheep graze under the pale sunlight, the town is a picturesque setting. The clear waters of the Raven River meander through vibrant flower gardens, creating a sense of peace and poetry. Ancient brick houses are scattered along the small cobblestone streets, where friendly locals exchange smiles and laughter, making Ravenhill seem like an idyllic place to live. However, at the heart of this picturesque beauty lies a dark core, the Ravenhill Police Station, where injustice reigns supreme. Built like a formidable fortress, it stands tall in the town, symbolizing the absolute power of Police Chief Jack Myler. Ideally, this should be a sanctuary where citizens seek justice, a beacon of hope for the oppressed. Instead, it serves as a den of corruption and injustice, where justice is sold to the wealthy and privileged, while the poor and racial minorities are scorned and suppressed. The contrast in Ravenhill becomes even more stark at night, as moonlight gently blankets the fields and the sound of crickets echoes in the quiet. The center of the town is suffocated by darkness enveloping the police station. Inside, shouts, threats, and shady transactions occur incessantly. Here, justice is not for everyone. It's a luxury item affordable only to the rich and white. Today, on a gentle Monday morning in early August, the town of Ravenhill awakens in soft sunlight, with the small streets bustling with the sounds of people passing by. Amidst this peaceful atmosphere, a special event is unfolding at the Ravenhill Police Station, purportedly a center for law enforcement, but in reality a place laden with dark secrets. Martin Cole, a new inspector sent to the town, steps through the large gates of the station. With a composed appearance and a determined look in his eyes, he carries a clear mission: to investigate the growing complaints and allegations of corruption within the police department. However, what no one, including Police Chief Jack Myler, knows is that Martin is actually the son of the city's mayor. Martin has chosen to keep his true identity a secret. He does not wish to be treated specially or use his father's influence to do his job. Instead, he wants to face the challenges on his own, work with integrity, and personally uncover the truth behind the facade of the Ravenhill Police Station. When Martin Cole arrived in Ravenhill, he immediately felt the oppressive atmosphere. The police station, with its formidable and authoritative exterior, concealed a toxic environment filled with discrimination. Police Chief Jack Myler, whose power dominated the place, could not hide his contempt when he first met Martin. To Jack, Martin's black skin was a sign of inferiority, and the arrival of an inspector like him was merely a joke not worth bothering about. Inside the police station, Martin noticed a clear division among the staff. Some lived in fear, working only to avoid punishment from Jack and his henchmen. Others, though not in agreement with the unjust actions, chose silence to protect themselves. However, Martin realized that not everyone was subdued. Some eyes followed him with hidden hope, a sign of those longing for change, but yet to take action. Martin quickly understood that his mission was not merely to investigate irregularities. It was a battle against a system rotten from within. The sneering looks, the sarcastic remarks, and Jack Myler's defiant attitude only fueled his resolve. But Martin also knew that to expose the truth in Ravenhill, he would have to face challenges far greater than he had ever imagined. This was not just a job. It was a battle requiring both courage and cunning to achieve justice in a perilous environment. As Martin Cole began his mission, he quietly reviewed documents and reports related to corruption allegations within the Ravenhill Police Department. Irregularities gradually became apparent. Tampered files, missing reports, and unjust decisions targeting minority employees. Martin realized this was not mere unprofessionalism, but a system designed to hide misconduct and protect Police Chief Jack Myler's power. Realizing Martin was getting too close to the truth, Jack started implementing measures to obstruct him. He ordered loyal officers to dispose of crucial documents before Martin could review them. Rumors quickly spread throughout the station that Martin was just a guy sent in because of family connections, casting doubt on his motives and abilities. Some officers deliberately distorted information, creating further obstacles for Martin's investigation. Martin felt the weight of isolation in the hostile environment. It seemed everyone he approached either avoided him or remained silent for fear of Jack Myler. However, he also discovered a few staff members who quietly supported him. These individuals dared not confront Jack openly, but hoped Martin's presence would bring change. Despite the difficulties, Martin did not back down. He silently sought allies among those oppressed by Jack or the conscientious employees. With perseverance and integrity, Martin began building a small but trustworthy network, ready to help him gather evidence and support in the fight against the corruption in Ravenhill. The more he was obstructed, the more determined Martin became to expose the truth, knowing that justice could not wait any longer. During his investigation, Martin Cole uncovered initial evidence: unusual financial documents, conflicting reports, and anonymous testimonials from employees about bribery and discrimination. However, this evidence was still not strong enough to directly charge Jack Myler or shake the system he had built. Every corner Martin delved into led to insurmountable barriers. Feeling threatened by Martin, Jack Myler did not sit idly by. He used all his power to increase pressure on Martin, while also launching a covert harassment campaign. One morning, Martin came out to find his car vandalized, the tires slashed, and the windshield shattered. An anonymous note tucked under the windshield wiper read, "Be careful, boy," a clear threat. The threats did not stop there. Late-night anonymous calls, scrutinizing glances from colleagues, and tight surveillance at the station kept Martin in a constant state of tension. Martin understood that this was not just a fight against one man, but against a network of power protecting Jack Myler. However, these threatening acts did not deter him. Instead, they reaffirmed that he was on the right track. With courage, he decided to dig deeper, even though it put him in harm's way. Martin knew that to topple Jack, he needed undeniable evidence, and he was ready to face any danger to obtain it. Continuing his investigation, Martin Cole began to piece together fragments of a dark picture. The initial documents he found were financial reports showing unusual budget entries, supposedly used for police equipment, yet no such items appeared in the inventory. Following bank transactions, Martin discovered large sums transferred to an overseas account owned by Jack Myler. Each line of data silently accused Jack, not just of corruption, but of using the police department as a tool for personal enrichment. Digging deeper, Martin found old reports that had been altered or gone missing. These documents had once recorded incidents of police violence against the town's black community, but the names of the officers involved had been erased. Martin found Jack's signature on these documents, a sign that he was not only aware of these actions, but actively covered them up. A forgotten surveillance video in an office showed Jack receiving a suitcase full of money from a gang leader in a deserted parking lot. In the dim light, the image of Jack shaking hands with that figure became undeniable evidence. Martin also began to listen to those brave enough to speak the truth. Elijah Brooks, a black staff member at the police station, provided personal notes on secret meetings between Jack and local gangs. Elijah described how Jack directed officers to turn a blind eye to drug trafficking or gang violence in exchange for hefty protection money. Some officers were coerced into participating, and those who refused faced threats or were forced out by Jack. Moreover, Martin uncovered encrypted emails between Jack and a leader of a major financial corporation. These emails revealed that Jack was a link in a vast money laundering network, where profits from smuggling and drugs were cleaned through real estate transactions and investments. This corporation was also why Jack had never faced legal repercussions. They had the power to shield him. The pressure on Martin intensified when he received anonymous calls warning him to stop his investigations or face unforeseen consequences. Right after one such call ended, his parked car was suddenly vandalized, a clear, tangible threat. Fortunately, since Martin had no family, the anonymous callers couldn't use loved ones as leverage. Now more vigilant, Martin continued to investigate new leads, albeit more quietly and discreetly. Each piece of evidence was a reminder that he was fighting not just to bring down Jack, but to protect his community. Martin knew that Jack could not escape justice if he continued to piece these fragments together, building a comprehensive picture of his corruption and abuse of power. Jack Myler knew that Martin Cole was getting dangerously close to toppling him. To protect himself and the power structure he controlled, Jack decided to strike first with a ruthless plan. Utilizing his network of loyal allies, Jack set a perfect trap to ensnare Martin in a scandal designed to ruin his career and reputation. One evening, Martin received an urgent call from a police department employee reporting a severe altercation in a suburb of Ravenhill, an area where the black community frequently faced harassment by gangs. When Martin arrived at the scene, he discovered a stage setup, a disheveled room with cash and a small bag of drugs deliberately placed on a table. Soon after, the police stormed in, led by Jack himself. With a cold demeanor, Jack ordered Martin's arrest on the spot, charging him with possession and trafficking of drugs, a crime he did not commit. News of the arrest spread quickly, and Jack did not miss the opportunity to twist the truth. Local media, under his control, reported that Martin was a two-faced inspector who exploited his power for illicit gains. Colleagues at the police station, who had been skeptical of Martin due to his skin color and determination, now turned their backs on him. Some felt betrayed, while others saw this as proof of the prejudice Jack had always promoted, that people like Martin could not be trusted. Martin was suspended from his job pending an official investigation into the charges against him. During those lonely, pressure-filled days, he felt as if everything was collapsing. The career he had built on integrity and hard work seemed about to dissolve. Isolation and doubt from all sides made him lose faith in himself. Martin began to question whether this fight was worth it or if he could truly change a system that was rotten to the core. But amidst the darkness, a ray of hope appeared. Elijah Brooks, the only one who still believed in Martin, came to meet him secretly. Elijah handed Martin a photo showing Jack and his allies staging the scene where Martin was framed. This was evidence that Martin was entirely innocent. Martin thanked Elijah and urged him to leave quickly for his own safety. But in Martin's mind, a thought lingered. If he exposed this evidence, he could regain his honor and career, and Jack might be arrested for framing him. However, exposing only this wouldn't fundamentally change the corrupt system Jack had built. A new hope emerged from an unexpected source. Late one night, as Martin sat in his small apartment, exhausted and depleted from the isolation, he received a message from an unidentified number. The message read simply, "I know the truth. Meet me at the old warehouse on West Street at 10 p.m. Despite suspicions that it could be a trap, Martin had nothing left to lose. He went to the designated location, where he met Sarah Jenkins, an administrative employee at the police station. Sarah, a young woman with bright eyes and cautious demeanor, confessed that she had been secretly monitoring Jack Myler's actions for a long time. Working in Jack's office, she had often seen suspicious documents and witnessed how he abused his power to crush anyone who opposed him. Sarah shared that she had been torn between staying silent to protect herself or standing up to speak the truth. However, after witnessing how Martin was framed and his reputation destroyed, she could no longer bear it. She decided to stand with Martin, despite knowing it would put her in danger. From her bag, Sarah pulled out a USB drive and placed it in Martin's hands. She explained that it contained copies of emails that Jack had exchanged with gang leaders and financial corporation executives. The USB held evidence of bribery, money laundering, and directives to cover up crimes committed by the police. Crucially, one of the emails revealed that the setup against Martin had been planned from the start, with the help of allies within the system. "This is your only chance," Sarah said, her voice trembling but resolute. "Use it to bring him down. But you need to be careful. Jack isn't easy to topple." Martin took the USB, feeling its weight not just physically, but as the last chance to restore his honor and bring justice to Ravenhill. He looked into Sarah's eyes and saw a bravery he never thought he would find in a quiet office worker. "Thank you," he said, his voice deep with gratitude. "You're not just helping me. You're helping many others." With crucial evidence in hand, Martin knew he was no longer alone. Sarah, with her daring and courage, had become his most reliable ally, giving him a chance to turn the tables and confront Jack Myler and the rotten system he represented. Thanks to the help of Elijah Brooks and Sarah Jenkins, Martin Cole was confident he could expose the entirety of Jack Myler's corrupt activities and his network. 2 days later, Martin's hearing was held publicly at Ravenhill Town Hall. This was not only an opportunity to expose Jack Myler, but also to restore faith in justice in a community that had suffered too much injustice. On the significant day, the town hall meeting room was packed with media representatives, citizens, and even police department staff. Jack Myler entered with his usual confident demeanor, believing the protective power system would help him prevail. He smirked upon seeing Martin standing at the podium, as if to remind him that he was just a newcomer daring to challenge the entire system. But Martin was undeterred. He began by presenting evidence proving his innocence, including the video that captured Jack and his accomplices staging the fake crime scene. Next, Martin revealed the unusual financial reports and the encrypted emails that Sarah had provided. On the large screen, he displayed a video of Jack receiving a suitcase full of money from a gang leader, along with documents showing his connections to a financial corporation using Ravenhill as a money laundering point. Each piece of evidence was a dagger thrust into Jack's illusory image of power. Realizing the danger, Jack attempted to defend himself. He denied all charges, blaming subordinates and insisting he was unaware of any wrongdoing. "I was just doing my job," he said, his voice full of feigned indignation. "If there were errors, they were committed by others without my knowledge." But Martin did not stop. He continued to present evidence that Jack had personally directed cover-ups and accepted bribes. Unexpectedly, a voice from the audience called out, "Stop lying, Jack. We all know what you've done." Everyone turned to see Tom Harris, Jack's closest assistant, standing up. Tom, always seen as Jack's right-hand man, could no longer endure the deceit. "I've worked for you for many years, and I've seen everything. But this time, you've gone too far. I can't stand by you any longer." Tom then provided additional evidence. Recordings of calls where Jack ordered the setup against Martin and documents detailing financial transactions he was involved in. Tom's words were the final blow, shattering any effort by Jack to defend himself. As all the truth was laid bare, the atmosphere in the room grew heavy. Jack, once an absolute symbol of power in Ravenhill, now stood exposed, his face pale, speechless. "Justice does not belong to those who abuse their power," Martin declared, his voice firm. "It belongs to everyone, both those you've oppressed and those you thought you could manipulate forever." With clear evidence and Tom Harris's testimony, Jack Myler was arrested on the spot. Applause erupted from the crowd, symbolizing the beginning of a new era in Ravenhill. Although the journey was painful and challenging, Martin knew he had done the right thing, not just for himself, but for all the voiceless people in the town. Justice was finally restored. As Jack Myler was led out of the town hall in handcuffs, a brief silence enveloped the crowd before cheers erupted throughout the room. Jack's reign, along with the corrupt and abusive network he had built, had finally collapsed. That day was not only a victory for Martin Cole, but also marked a new beginning for Ravenhill. Immediately afterward, Mayor Cole, Martin's father, held a public press conference. With a resolute look, he committed to a complete overhaul of the town's police system. He announced that new policies would be implemented to ensure transparency and fairness, including establishing an independent oversight committee composed of community members to monitor police activities, retraining all police staff on racial equality and accountability, replacing leadership positions within the police department, selecting individuals with competence and integrity. "I apologize for allowing this situation to persist for too long," the mayor said. "But from today, Ravenhill will change. Justice and fairness will no longer be the privilege of a few, but will belong to all." As for Martin, he was recognized for his courage and steadfastness. At a ceremony in the town, many expressed their respect and gratitude towards him. But when awarded a Medal of Honor, Martin simply smiled and said, "I didn't do this for glory. I just wanted to make sure that everyone, no matter who they are or where they come from, can trust that justice will protect them, not turn its back on them." Martin knew the work was not done. He saw hope in the eyes of Ravenhill citizens, but he also understood that real change takes time and relentless effort. Yet, with integrity and determination, Martin felt proud to be part of this transformative moment. That afternoon, as Martin stood in the town's central square, looking at the familiar scenes, he smiled softly. Ravenhill, once overshadowed by the darkness of injustice, finally had the chance to become a better place. But for Martin, this was just the beginning of the work he had yet to do, not just in Ravenhill, but anywhere that needed someone willing to stand up for justice. In the story of Martin Cole and the town of Ravenhill, we see the value of courage when confronting corrupt power. Despite facing danger and isolation, Martin persistently pursued truth and justice. He demonstrated that standing up to toxic forces is the first step toward positive change. Additionally, the story highlights the importance of support and solidarity. Martin did not fight alone. Assistance from a colleague underscored the power of collaboration. This support not only helped him overcome challenges, but also showed that unity can make a significant difference in the fight against injustice. Martin's belief in justice cannot be overlooked either. He showed that when someone deeply believes in what is right, it can inspire and attract others to change their perspectives and actions. This belief was not only a motivation for him, but also a powerful force for those around him, driving positive change in the community. Martin's patience and resilience are also key lessons. He overcame many difficulties and challenges, but his relentless perseverance ultimately led to success. This underscores that despite temporary setbacks, patience and persistence are key to achieving significant goals. Finally, Martin being recognized for his bravery and integrity, but humbly declining glory shows that sometimes doing the right thing is its own reward. This not only affirms the value of his actions, but also emphasizes that recognition or fame is not the ultimate goal of doing the right thing.